everyone, Patty here. I'm a full-time reseller. Today out in a Goodwill mystery box scrap. It was marked silver. It had 925 on it. So I'm going to tell you what I did. Well, for whatever reason, the other day I picked this piece up again and I looked at it and I noticed on the jewelry it had not just the one marking, but it had three markings. It had the 925. It had the Alfred Philippe, and also Trafari. I still wasn't able to tell anything from that until I put it in Google Lens, and I realized when I put it in Google Lens, I noticed that there were ones that had actually sold for over $200 a piece. Now, the ones that sold for over $200, they had all the stones in them. They had the pin that was working. Mine didn't. Mine had a few missing stones. The brooch was broke on the back. The pin was off of it. I did make sure I did probably 11 or 12 pictures, and I made note of this in the listing. I thought, you know what? I want this to sell quick. Wasn't sure if it was going to sell. I kind of figured it would, but just didn't realize it would sell as quick as it did because of the condition it was in. But this piece sold for $149.99. It shipped international the very next day. Right away when I listed it, it had two watchers on it, and I thought, oh, I should have listed it a little bit higher, but you know what? The piece was broke. I paid pennies on the dollar, and I wanted that quick cash. So hopefully this gives you some inspiration to don't just throw away that jewelry that's broken or that scrap stuff. Put it in a pile and sell it as a lot. If you don't know what it is, put it in Google Lens, do a picture of it, and do a little bit of research. That's what I did, and that's what I fully believe sold my item. I sold this Ann Stewart vintage peignoir. This sold for $29.99. This vintage Kazan doll, I had this marked over $150 at one point. I had watchers on it then. I had it listed probably for about 6 months or so. Had it at a few different prices. I knew if I just dropped down that price, I dropped it down to $36.99 and it sold right away. So this doll, I did pay $10 for it, but it was very old. I'm not exactly sure. I think it was from the 50s or 60s, the doll, but the gown, it was still in nice shape, though it did have a lot of wrinkles in it, but it did have, in the listing, and I made sure to make note of this, it did have the jewelry still with it. It had the shoes, it had the panties underneath. Even though the gown was a little bit rough because of the age and because it was all wrinkled, it still sold. So this vintage cat brooch, this was so small. I sold it for $3.99. I know many of you don't like those little sales. I like them all. I take them all, and I'm happy and very thankful for them. This lady was so happy with this sale, and it was the cutest little cat brooch, and I paid literally pennies on the dollar for that. This ballerina plush, this sold for $10.99. I don't usually pay more than $1 for my plush, so. This Briar horse, this sold for $12.99. This camo fishing cap, this sold for $17.99, and I got that in a huge lot of hats from highbid.com a couple months ago, and they're still selling for me. I probably paid about $1 a piece for the hats, maybe a little bit less. These Tinker Toys, these sold for $19.99. This Currier and Ives puzzles still sell for me. This sold for $10.99. And I also sold this Main Haven puzzle for $12.99. This VHS tape, this In Harm's Way with John Wayne in it. This sold for, I don't have the price written down, but anyway, I will post that. These I paid probably 50 cents. I got these in the huge lot and I'm still selling them. And this Philly Fanatic plush, this sold for $10.99. These sports bras, I paid $1, I guess, maybe less, because I got the bra, a bunch of bras and panties in a huge lot. So I sold 2 of them for $21.99, or $21.98. This Angry Birds plush, I sold this for $12.99. These men's briefs, I sold these for $14.99. This Papal plush, this sold for $14.99. This faux pearl necklace, this sold for $14.99, pennies on the dollar. These gingerbread earrings, these sold for $4.99, pennies on the dollar. This Jellycat Bambly Bear, this sold for $19.99. I did have them marked up to $30. It's near Christmas. I should have left it marked up, but you know what? Let people get a deal. It's Christmas time. The times are hard. So I marked that down and it did sell for $19.99. And that was the Jellycat Bambly Bear. This Lucky Brand bracelet, this sold for $11.99. This Duck Dynasty plush, this sold for $10.99. Ornament, this sold for $8.99. I paid $1 for the ornaments. I bought a bunch of them and I paid $1 a piece. Or no, I didn't. I actually paid less than that because I bought them in a lot. So they were less, that ornament was less than $1. I try to buy things in lots. It's the best way to buy stuff if you're a reseller, or you're thinking about reselling, I should say. This Twins Red Sox plush, this sold for $16.99. This Bandu game, this sold for $29.99. This Plank Brewery Ice Tin, this sold for $49.99. These vintage tube socks, now I do have another set of them. These sold for $19.99. And I know if I would have waited, I could have probably gotten about $50. But like I said, I like to move my inventory. I like to keep on buying new inventory. So I sold them for $19.99 and the customer was happy with them. The only thing with them, I didn't know the size, so I just measured the top to the bottom because I didn't have anything to compare it to. But they were in really, really good shape. They appear to have never been worn. And I was so happy to find them. I bought probably, there were probably 10 pair for, I paid $5. So I was happy with that, considering the age of them. I like picking up those sports-related plush. They usually sell. Sometimes you have to wait, but the sports-related plush are pretty good pickups. Hopefully this gives you an idea of some items that can make you some money. And yeah, I'm really happy about that broken piece of jewelry because I was just gonna sell it in a lot of other silver jewelry as scrap, and I'm glad I didn't. So hope you enjoyed hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy your holiday. Take care.